السلام عليكم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we're going to summarize what the Shaykh will speak about this khutbah, inshallah. And in continuation of last week's topic, inshallah, he was talking about the importance of the masjid, the importance of establishing salah, the importance of establishing brotherhood in Islam, to come into the masjid, to come in as a community, to pray in the masjid, the benefit of salah and everything. And the first thing that the Prophet ﷺ established when he went to Medina is the masjid. He established the house of Allah. And by establishing the house of Allah, he created a community of the believers that they come together not only in prayers but in community, to strengthen each other, to help each other, to look after each other, to strengthen and to build that brotherhood, to build that unity, to build that bond, to build that faith, and that's what it's all about. So the first is establishing the masjid, is to come in regularly in the masjid, to pray in the masjid and congregation, and therefore after that is to strengthen the faith and to love for others what you love for yourself as part of iman and part of faith. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. May peace and blessing be upon the Prophet ﷺ, his household and companions. Fellow Muslims, fear Allah in your words and deeds. For whoever fears Allah and keeps his duty to Him, He will provide him a way out of every difficulty, and He will provide him from sources he could never imagine. Surah Al-Alaq, chapter 65, verse 2 to 3. Islam, my dear brothers and sisters in faith, is a treasure of all good for mankind, without which they will go astray and live in misery. Allah says, by the time, verily, man is lost, except those who believe and do righteous deeds, and recommend one another, strengthen one another to the truth, and recommend one another to patience, enjoin what is good, enjoin what is patient, and forbid what is wrong. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Without doubt, the believers are brothers of one another. إنما المؤمنون في تراحمهم وتعاطفهم بمنزلة الجسد الواحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو واحد تداعى له سائر الجسد بالحمى والسعر. Surely the believers, in relation to the mercy and compassion and affection they show for one another, are the same as one body, the same that of one body. Therefore, if one of the parts of the body is feeling pain, then the whole body suffers from that, and the whole body try to rescue it, try to save it, to safeguard.
The Islamic creed, which the Prophet ﷺ is bringer of all good and prosperity, and preventer of all evil and his causes. Whoever adhere to it will remain on the straight path. He will not be carried out by whims or deceived by the beauties of this world. Allah says, and whoever is speech, then he who invites men to Allah in religion and does righteous deeds, and says, I am of the Muslim. Surah Fussilat 41, verse 33. On the day of judgment, my dear brothers and sisters, successful is one who comes to Allah with a sound heart. Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, beware, there is a piece of flesh in the human body. If it's right, then the whole body is right and sound. And if it is corrupt, then the whole body is corrupt. Look, this is the heart, as we mentioned. So in Bukhari, this can be found in Bukhari and Muslim. So according to the Quran and the teaching of our Prophet ﷺ, the basis of corruption stems from within ourselves. The social institutions may be corrupt, there may be exploitation, abuse, but the basis of all the diseases lie inside the heart. What stops mankind from seeing right and wrong? What turns them blind? The Quran explains, it is not the eyes which go blind, but it is the heart within the breast which go blind. So therefore, brothers and sisters, let's examine our heart. Let's look at our heart. Let's look at inner self and rectify our heart. Let's reconcile our heart. Let's not envy each other. Let's love each other for the sake of Allah. Let's not compete in each other and try to backbite, because backbiting will destroy the society as a whole. And that's why it's like eating the flesh of a person dead, and you hate that. So therefore, let's not bite each other. Let's not make fun, one party make fun on another party, be it women or a man. Let's not have conjecture, because in conjecture weaken the faith. The Prophet ﷺ, do not harbor grudges against one another, nor envy one another, nor turn your backs on one another, nor desert one another. The Prophet ﷺ also said, the gates of paradise are open on Mondays and Thursdays, and then every slave of Allah who does not associate anything with Allah in worship is forgiven, except for someone who has enmity between him and his Muslim brother. Except, all will be forgiven except the one that has enmity between him and his brother. It is said, leave those two until they are reconciled. Leave those two that they are in dispute until they are reconciled. So let's take this moment, let's seize this moment, knowing the importance of that. Let's reconcile each other. Let's ask forgiveness from each other. Let's strengthen each other. Be it like this brick, this building. It is a brick that strengthens each other. Alone, a brick is weak. But together, when you put it together, it's a building, it's a beautiful building. It's strengthening each other. That is the likeness of each Muslim. Each Muslim alone is weak. But when you bring it as a community, when you strengthen each other, when you come together as a whole community in unity, it makes you a strong Muslim. It makes you a beautiful institution. The heart, my dear brothers and sisters, is the basic starting point for any positive change or any effort to improve our current situation. We have to purify our heart for the sake of Allah, to service to mankind. A Muslim is someone that the people are safe from his tongue and his hand. Someone that is beneficial to humanity, someone that is beneficial to himself. Anything that you see harming others is not part of Islam. Islam come to serve humanity, to serve Allah. By serving Allah, you become of service to His creation. You become of safety to everyone, to yourself, to your family, and to everyone. Brotherhoods reinforce people's lives like nothing else. The Quran says, withhold yourself with those who call upon Allah in the morning and the night, for Surah Al-Kahf, chapter 18, verse 28. As soon as you have planted the seed of Iman, the seed of faith in your heart, you will recognize it in others. You will find some sort of harmony between you and others. You always invest in others. You always think the best of others, not otherwise. You never have conjecture. You never want to talk bad about each other. You never want to have grudges among each other. You want to have a community. You want to have unity. You want to have harmony. You want to have perseverance. And Islam is full of examples of the Sahaba. How they used to always put others in front of them. And the Sheikh will talk about many examples of Umar when he sent to test some of his companions. So he sent a sum of money with the kid, and he told him, go to so-and-so and give them this money. And wait there for 1 hour to see what this person will do with that money. And those persons were in need. So as soon as they received that 200 or 400 dirhams, dinar or whatever dirhams, whatever currency it might be, they did not waste time. They distributed. They asked people, oh, go to so-and-so house. They have somebody sick. Go to so-and-so house. They are in need of that money. Go to so-and-so house and relieve them of their debt. So they distribute all that money, so much so that they did not leave anything for themselves, and they themselves, they are in need. And this was pertaining to all the Sahaba. All of them, with no exception, they were example of itar, they were example of benevolence, they were example of ihsan, they were example of good manners. That's how the society strengthened each other. That's how the society came all about, helping each other. Not just say salam with a lip service, but meaning it, saying it from your heart, saying it genuinely, saying to look after each other. Islamic principle that is deeply ingrained in the heart of all the Muslims, all you who believe. If a rebellious person comes to you with a piece of news, verily, lest you have people in ignorance, and afterward you become grateful for what you have done. The Muslims should be wise. The media should not divide us. This pertains to the media or any person. If an evil person with the propaganda, be it an entity or be it a media or anybody else, come to you with the news that is not verifiable, we should verify the news where it's come from. So we cannot divide among each other. There is people there with agenda that are trying to destroy this unity. They're trying to always create hatred and animosity between each other. Let's be wiser than that. Let's always think the best of others, the best of the neighbors, be it Muslim or not. Let's be a doer of good. Let's be a carrier of humanity that look after humanity. And as we said before, a Muslim is someone that the people will feel safe from his hand and from his tongue. A Muslim will not someone who will harm others. In contrary, he will come to the help of all humanity. So, inshallah, that was just a summary. The Shaykh spoke eloquently about, how to come about as a community, how to come about as a strength of each other. So, I will inshallah do that. Jazakumullahu khairan and forgive us.